Well, this has turned into a strange situation, and it's all Elna's fault. Or maybe this is her way of protesting the fact that I wasn't being entirely truthful. Aaron, this is reckless. You can't possibly fight that many people, said Selena. She's right. No matter how strong you are, Aaron, that's just too many, added Sharon. I appreciate the concern, I said, but it's just a mock battle, and I think this is something that needs to be done. Besides, I haven't been practicing magic for nothing. It'll be fine. We arrived at the Adventurers Guild shortly after. I spotted a familiar face at the reception desk and called out, "Hello, Amy. Is the arena available?" "Aaron, you've got quite a large group with you today." "Yes, it's free. Will an hour be enough?" "Yes, an hour will be great." "That'll be 100 guineas, and as I'm sure you know, if you break any of the training dummies, there will be an additional fee." "Understood. Here you go." I paid the 100 guineas and received the key to the arena. "All right, Elna, what kind of rules should we set?" "Let's see. What do you think, Lady Claria?" "First, we will obviously use wooden swords. Aaron is forbidden from using any offensive magic. The Royal Guard, on the other hand, is free to use any magic they wish." "Lady Claria, that's hardly a fair fight. I mean, it wasn't fair to begin with, but—" "Actually, I think I'm being far too lenient on Aaron. I said he's forbidden from using offensive magic, but I never said he couldn't use magic at all." "What exactly do you mean by that?" "I mean he intends to use some kind of magic." "You truly are soft on him, Lady Claria. If it were up to me, I'd forbid Aaron from using any magic whatsoever and take away his wooden sword." "Sir Norian, are you joking?" "I believe that even under those conditions, we would be unable to win." "I see. So he is that formidable of an opponent." Everyone chose a wooden sword from the rack in the arena and took a few practice swings. Thanks to Elna's big mouth, everyone's way too fired up. I just hope no one gets hurt. "We'll use a half-moon formation. He's only one man, but do not let your guard down." "Captain, allow me to take the lead. I can buy you at least 10 seconds. Use that time to get into position." "What are you planning?" "You'll see soon enough." "Very well. Give it a try." 10 seconds, huh? Elna's really talking herself up. "Are both sides ready? On your mark. Begin. Wind cutter." The moment the match began, Elna unleashed her magic, just as I'd expected. What? The wind cutter was moving incredibly slowly, far slower than a normal one. Elna was running right behind it, using the blade of wind as a shield. That's a clever trick. It would be easy to dodge, but I'm curious to see what she does next. I'll play along for a bit. The wind cutter, slow as it was still faster than Elna could run. The idea, I suppose, was that while I was distracted by the magic, she would close the distance and cut me down with her sword. I have no choice but to dodge the wind cutter. If I could use magic, I'd simply cancel it out, but offensive spells are off limits. The cutter is moving too slowly to dodge just yet. If I move now, she'll just change its trajectory to hit me. Air bullet! What a nasty timing for another spell. I could feel the flow's mana. She had fired 3 shots at once, one from the front and one to my left and right. My only option is to accelerate and dodge. Up! The instant I accelerated, I realized my mistake. As I leapt into the air, Elna had silently cast another air bullet, anticipating my move. I twisted my body, managing to avoid a direct hit, but I couldn't dodge it completely and was sent flying. Still, I managed to land on both feet. What? You took a hit from an air bullet and that's all the damage you took? Wow, that was a surprise. Not bad, Elna. That was my first and last chance to win. Here I come, Elna. I accelerated, closing the distance to her in an instant. She couldn't even react. I flicked her wooden sword upwards, then aimed for her wrist and knocked the sword from her grasp. Tch! And with that, Elna was out of the fight. Over the past 2 weeks of magic practice, I had acquired this inhuman acceleration. The reason I can move like this is, of course, magic. It's my attempt at recreating the blindingly fast movements of a dog-like creature from the second planet of the Eladar system, Celsa II, which used mana to move. I can't quite match the original's blindingly fast speed, but according to nanomes measurements, I can move at about 3 times my normal speed. Of course, I can't maintain this kind of movement continuously. A single burst of acceleration lasts for about 2 seconds at most. Any longer, and my muscles and tendons can't take the strain. The first time I successfully used this magic, I got carried away and ended up in a world of hurt. After each acceleration, I need to use a little healing magic to patch myself up. This means I can't use it in rapid succession. I need about 5-second interval between each burst. Even if it's only for 2 seconds, moving at 3 times your opponent's speed is frankly cheating in the world of sword fighting. If I close the distance and then accelerate, there's no way I can lose a sword fight. What was that speed?
The royal guards started to murmur amongst themselves. I might as well end this quickly. I moved to the closest person, accelerated, and knocked the wooden sword from their hand. What is this? What's happening? Seeing their comrades disarmed one after another, they were bordering on panic. Against opponents in such a state, knocking away their swords was easy. That's enough. Just as I finished disarming all 15 of them, Claria declared the match over. Most of them were clutching their arms, and a few were down on one knee. I locked onto all of their arms with the virtual window and cast a healing spell. A gentle light rained down on each of them. This is healing magic. Yes, Claria said. This is Aran's magic. Silence enveloped the arena. That's magnificent. This is the power of one beloved by the goddess. There is no doubt. The old man Claria had called Baron Serio looked like he was about to burst into tears with emotion. The royal guards seemed to have finally snapped out of their daze. No, that's impossible. What in the world was that? I can't believe it. This is not the full extent of Aran's abilities. Allow me to show you something truly interesting. With that, Claria stood about 15 meters in front of me. Oh man, she's going to do that. That stuff is terrifying. Claria raised her hand and, without warning, launched a fireball at me. Whoa! I could hear the shock cries of the royal guards. I launched my own fireball towards the incoming one. The 2 spells collided and neutralized each other, vanishing. Next came 3 fireballs at once. I responded with 3 of my own, and they too vanished. Then came 3 flame arrows. I countered with my own flame arrows, but they were faster than the fireballs, and the spells canceled each other out only about 3 meters in front of me. That was close. Once again, silence fell upon the arena. I looked around and saw everyone staring with their mouths agape. Incredible. Truly one beloved by the gods. There is no doubt. Baron Serio was now openly weeping. The royal guards were in an uproar, some standing in stunned silence, others shouting incoherently. Your Highness, Lord Aran is beyond amazing, but what about your magic? Elna and I have been learning magic from Aaron every day. I've gotten pretty good, haven't I? Pretty good is an understatement. You're more skilled than the head court magician. To think of it, Sir Norian's magic earlier was also quite impressive. Lord Aran, please teach me magic as well. Me too. The situation had spiraled out of control, but after a while, everyone finally started to calm down. Your Highness, we have truly witnessed a glimpse of the power of one beloved by the gods. To have encountered such an individual, you are truly worthy of your title. You have undoubtedly inherited the great fortune of the Ludwig family. You think so too, Baron Serio? I also believe that meeting Iran was a stroke of true fortune. If such a person is on our side, our future is bright. It is as if we have the goddess Luminous herself on our side. Oh, forgive my age, but I feel my blood stirring with excitement. Yes, as do I. Then let us return to the inn at once and finalize our plans. That would be best, wouldn't it, Iran? Claria was looking at me with narrowed, frightening eyes. Oh crap, she's really mad. To think of it, that last flame arrow seemed a little faster than usual. Yeah, let's do that. We returned the key to the arena and left the guild. Figuring we could get at least 1 or 2 rooms, I arranged for Captain Dalsum and Baron Serio to stay at the Horn of Plenty. Iran, that was amazing back there. It really was. To think magic could do something like that. I can't wait to try using magic. Selena and Sharon were thrilled to have seen the magic display. I, on the other hand, was filled with dread at the thought of the conversation I was about to have with Claria. We arrived at the inn, and as luck would have it, a 2-person room was available, so I booked it for Captain Dalsum and Baron Serio. When I told the innkeeper they were just acquaintances of mine, he accepted the payment without issue. Everyone's eyes turned to me. I'm sorry, but could I speak with Claria alone first? Very well, I will speak with him first. I led Claria to my room. It's been a while since we've spoken alone like this. Claria, first, I want to apologize for what I did back there. It was wrong of me to tell everyone you had a plan without your permission. I'm sorry. What exactly were you thinking, Iran? I'm truly sorry. The reason I said that was I was wondering if I could somehow use this situation for something I want to do, something I have to do. What do you mean? You have no connection to my country's affairs, do you? What is this something you want to do? Claria, we are planning to build a nation on this continent. No, we will build a nation. What? Build a nation? That's right. We will build a nation. This is something I will see through to the end. It was with that in mind that I very selfishly thought to make use of your situation.
When you say we, do you mean with Selina and the others? Yes, Selina, Sharon, and me. But with just the 3 of you? How do I explain Iris, the universal bots, and the drones? Well, there are others who will be helping us. How many? I don't have an exact number, but they are more on the support side of things. So you're saying that because you want to build your own country, you'll use the people who follow me to do it. Is that it? Yes, but it's probably a little different from what you're imagining. First, I will build the nation. If you and your followers don't want to be involved, you don't have to be. I just want you to become citizens of the country I create. Citizens of your country? How do you plan to build a nation? Actually, we've already begun work on the first settlement. First, we'll gather people there and build a town. Then we'll gradually expand from there. Iris. Yes, Captain. How long will it take to build the settlement? We've only just begun, so I cannot give a precise date, but the estimate is 1 year. I see. That's quite a while. Understood. Thank you. A settlement? Where? In a place called the Great Forest of Magic. Oh, Ron, do you have any idea what kind of place the Great Forest of Magic is? Of course, I looked into it, but you can't exactly build a new nation anywhere else, can you? Perhaps not. But is it even possible to build a settlement in a place like that? It's possible. I'm not worried about that at all. My collaborators are quite capable. And when will this settlement be ready? In about a year. If we weren't here, who were you planning to have as your citizens? I was just thinking about that. I thought maybe becoming a nobleman would be a good path. So that's why you were asking this morning. Exactly. Defeating monsters would be no problem, but the whole being famous and popular with the people part is tricky. I see. With you, Aaron, I'm sure you could defeat any monster. Aaron, I'm sorry, but I must decline your offer to become citizens of your country. May I ask why? First, even if you clear the great forest of magic and build a town, I can't imagine life there will be peaceful. It will likely be a very harsh and difficult existence. I cannot lead the people who follow me to a place like that. Second, the 2,000 people who follow me are the hereditary vassals of my uncle. They don't want to live in your country. They follow me with the hope of avenging my uncle and their comrades and reclaiming their own lands. I cannot go against their wishes and take them to your country. I haven't mentioned this yet, but once I build my nation, I intend to establish hegemony over this entire continent. What? The Starvate Kingdom? Or was it the Aroas Kingdom? If you want it, I can give it to you. Of course, I don't know when that will be, but I should be able to hand it over within your lifetime. Aran, are you being serious? I've never been more serious in my life. And about living in the settlement, why don't you decide after you've seen it? You can see the settlement, and if you think you can't live there, you can back out. Your situation won't change either way, so it's not a bad deal, is it? Aran, why do you want to build a nation? You're not someone who seeks power, and you don't seem to have any desire for material wealth. I don't understand your reason for wanting to build a country. I don't know if you'll believe me, but it's for the sake of the people living on this continent. You're going to build a nation and dominate the continent for the sake of the people? That's right, I swear it. Specifically, what will you do once you have a nation? Education. I want the people to understand the world around them, to know the principles of this world, and to live happy, fulfilling lives. That's all I want. So you're saying you'll build a nation for the happiness of the people of this continent. You could put it that way. Is that so hard to believe? It is, frankly. Do you think I'll suddenly change and become a tyrant? I wouldn't go that far, but in that case, the country I build can be a co-regency with you, if you like. The form of government doesn't matter to me. All I need is for the citizens, no, the imperial subjects, to learn science efficiently. Co-regency? Does that mean, me and you? That's right. We'll rule the nation together with combined strength. However, I must state in advance that all policies, methods, and laws related to education will be left entirely to me. Also, the policy of unifying the continent as quickly as possible is non-negotiable. Apart from those matters, you can decide as you see fit. Claria's face suddenly turned bright red, and she started flustering. What's wrong? Aaron, are you all right with me? What does she mean by that? She must mean I'm not very reliable, but are you sure I'm the one? Well, Claria's the only one I know well enough to make this kind of offer to. I wouldn't dream of entrusting something this important to anyone else. Of course, I'm only saying this because it's you, Claria. Oh, is that so? I need a little time to think. I understand. Should I step out? No, you can stay right there. Claria closed her eyes and began to think with a serious expression. About 5 minutes later, she opened her eyes and smiled. Lord Alan Corinth, I would like to accept the offer you have just made. However, I have 3 conditions. First, as we discussed, if the settlement you are preparing is different from what we envision and is unsuitable for habitation, this agreement will be null and void. Second, the nation we create will be, as you said, a co-regency between us. All matters outside of the education of the people and the unification of the continent shall be decided upon with my consent. Third, should our nation succeed in taking control of the Aroas Kingdom, I ask that you entrust a handling of that territory entirely to me. As long as you uphold these 3 conditions, I promise to devote my all and cooperate with you fully, Lord Aaron. Lady Claria Starvane, I promise to uphold those 3 conditions. Should we write this down or something, Claria? Oh, for goodness sake, we had such a solemn, serious atmosphere, and you just ruined it. We don't need a document. Sorry, I just don't know anything about this. You were supposed to get on one knee and say something like, "Everything shall be as you command." Oh, was I? Okay, let's do it again. No, that's enough. In any case, we have an agreement. Aaron, you'd better keep your promise. Of course, it's a promise. I held out my hand. Huh, do they not have handshakes on this planet? Over 70% of human-inhabited planets have a custom of shaking hands. What is this hand for? In my country, when an agreement is reached, we shake hands. Is that so? What a fascinating custom. And so, Claria and I shared our first handshake.